Shannon, what do you think? Should the Hawks keep Young and keep building around him?
No, but I think needs to be a clear understanding of what we expect from Trae Young. You getting upset with the coach and not coming to the game is unacceptable. That will not be tolerated.
Yep.
But, Skip, what's the package you're going to get back? Do you believe you can get equal value back for Trae Young? Because I don't. Because I don't think anybody's going to trade you a star player for a star player, and it being Trae Young, who's 6 foot tall. I don't see that happening.
I'm not sure he's 6 feet, but go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
So which makes it's going to be it's going to make it less likely that it's going to happen. But Skip, I mean, he can score the basketball. Skip, he had 38 and 13, 38 and 14 assists.
He did.
And when we were discussing him coming out, Skip, I said, Skip, I believe his game can translate. I said, not only is he leading the nation in scoring, he's leading the nation in assists, something that had never been done before.
That is a remarkable, astonishing double.
We've seen guys lead the nation in scoring and rebounding, normally big guys. But a guy to lead the nation in scoring and assists, so I said his game can translate. Yeah. I didn't think he'd be able to score more, but I guess the game is more open because considering Jordan scored 19 points a game at USC and averaged 30, but that had to do more with Coach Smith than Michael Jordan's scoring ability.
I think it did. The more I look at that, the crazier it gets.
The only man that can keep him under 30.
Dean Smith.
So, Skip, I mean, he took the game over last night. And you look at Boston had that big old lead. And you could just tell the way I said, okay, now, y'all keep jacking around with this team now. And they hit a couple, John Collins hit a 3 and Bogdanovich hit a 3. And the next thing you know, what was a 12, 13-point lead, and you look up at 6 with 3 minutes to go. You're like, okay, Boston, y'all better get on it. And all of a sudden, Ice Trae got hot.
Yeah.
And that shot that he hit, Skip, that was from 30 plus. And he shot it like he meant it.
Yep, he did.
He shot it like he meant it.
And you didn't even need a 3 at that point.
No.
You were just down 1.
And I'm trying to figure out, I don't know what happened to Jason Tatum. He only took 2 shots in the fourth quarter last night.
Well, he was 1 of 10 from 3, so maybe he just said, I got to stop
Well, he ain't got to shoot. He ain't got to shoot the 3, put the ball on the floor and get to the rim.
I'll buy that.
But for Atlanta to go, Skip, I think the thing is that you look at it, and if you look at the situation and you says, okay, we're undermanned. No Dejounte Murray, who's arguably our second-best player, and what are our chances? And Trae Young says, you got a great chance with me. Let's just keep this game close. Let's get to the fourth quarter, and let's see what happens. They kept the game close. But, Skip, I think you should. Look, if you tell me I can get a superstar, I can get whomever that superstar may be.
Yeah.
Would I take De'Aaron Fox over Trae Young? Yeah, I would. But what are we going to get, Skip? If we trade him, are we just trading for picks and parts?
Probably.
No. Hell no. No, man, Atlanta tear that place, take State Farm Arena up. No way, no how. Skip, he's a gate attraction.
He is that. I do give you that. Okay, here we go again. This has eerie similarity to me to the Russell Westbrook syndrome, although they're very different players.
Right.
It's the same idea. There's so much to love and so much not to love. And you say, well, what's the final equation? More trouble than worth or worth the trouble?
Right.
It's a close call. But the rumors have been out there since the trade deadline that he's on the block, that they are shopping Trae Young.
Does that have to do with ability or attitude?
That's a great question that I don't know because I'm not there, but I'm reading from Marc Stein, for whom I know him, and I have the highest regard for him as a guy plugged in the NBA circles.
Okay.
And he's talking about the feedback that he hears whenever Young's name comes up is a firm focus on his reputation as, number one, a defensive liability. Again, he's 5'11".
Yeah, who are we going to stop?
Okay, who is he going to stop is the question.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But then more focus is on Atlanta's 2 tumultuous-filled seasons since reaching the Eastern Conference Finals that you brought up earlier in 2021.
But they overachieved.
Okay, they overachieved. And the fact that the Hawks are now on their 3rd coach trying to click with Young following the dismissals of Lloyd Pierce and Nate McMillan. I don't know Lloyd, but I know Nate. And
Nate Hard knows
really good. He is really good at what he does, but he's going to take nothing from nobody.
No, he old school.
Not even the gate attraction, the sideshow.
I think, Skipper, today, the way those coaches now is different. that hard, tough love, Skip. You got to manage these superstars now.
Yeah.
They control everything.
Yes.
But it's always been like that.
Yeah.
But that yelling and screaming, I don't know if Coach Pop style it will works anymore, Skip.
It's Belichickian. It's the same idea. I got it. Nate McMillan, if you remember him as a player, he overachieved because he would fight. He
went to he got drafted by the Supersonics, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I think he finished up in Indy.
Yeah, but he made himself into a player because he would compete like Russ competes with high IQ, and he knew how to play, but he wasn't the most talented player.
No.
Okay, what do I see in Trae Young? He is a gifted passer of the basketball.
Yeah.
The problem is he's been shown in Atlanta that he is such a sideshow. The internet keeps telling him, do this and do that and do this and try that. He will try any shot or any pass at any moment because it's entertaining.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, since he entered this league, he has led the league since he entered it in turnovers. He has led the league. We talk about Russ's turnovers, but this guy is the league leader over all the seasons that he has been a player in this league. The other problem is, from three, at least Russ shoots them from the line. This kid shoots them from the logo. This kid shoots them from Mars and Venus.
Yeah.
And this was classic Trae Young last night because Jaylen Brown said after the game, I didn't expect him to pull up because it's a one-point game.
Right.
And he didn't just pull up. He pulls up from 30. I mean, it's 30 feet. It's like... It's about 6 feet beyond the three-point line. Well, what are you doing? Well, he made it.
Right.
So I can't argue with that.
You know what it is? It's the same thing when the Dame pulled up from Paul George from about 40.
He did.
You're like, it's a tie ball game. Bro, you're not finna pull up from here, so I'm going to relax.
Okay.
And that's when he caught him off guard. He caught him relaxing. Skip, I think the thing is, when you said about the passing, is that because you're right, he wants to be Showtime. The difference between Magic and John Stockton is that Magic was a big point guard, but Magic was doing this. Magic was doing that, and all John Stockton was doing was bounce passing.
Hey,
take it right there, Carl.
Magic was the most fun to watch of any player I ever watched. John Stockton was boring.
It was boring.
Because it just kind of went in one eye and out the other. Because it's going to be textbook.
If you're 6 foot tall, Skip, how do I get people's attention? I got to be able to do something.
Yep.
I mean, a bounce pass at 6 foot tall, Skip. What is this?
Yeah.
This ain't 1950.
I mean, nobody ever called John Stockton white magic.
Exactly.
No.
Look, Trey, I mean, if this is the Bob Cousy era where you just bounce passing and all that, it would work. But not in today's game. It's entertainment, and he has to be entertaining.
Okay. Since Trey walked in the door in this league, he is top 10 in three-point attempts. He's the third worst since he entered the league in making threes.
Right.
So think about that. The math it's mind-boggling, right? Okay, it's not a good combination.
No.
Okay, so your point is the point, because in the end, okay, so you want to trade him for what? I mean, at some point, do you say, we just got to cut bait? Is it a Russell Westbrook syndrome where you just say, we got to get out from under this because we're kind of trapped in his sideshow, right?
But the difference is Atlanta and the Lakers. People are going to, those are the Lakers.
Yes.
That is the Hawks.
Okay. I mean, I love the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he was the right fit for the city as opposed to Luka. But I still think you would be winning more games with Luka than you would with Trey, in large part because Luka's 6'7" and he's 5'11".
And he's worse at defense than Trey.
He is.
At 6'7".
And
but you remember, Skip, you remember the old Omni. The only people, they went to see Dominique.
I used to go.
And when they got rid of Dominique, look what happened. I think it was Lenny Wilkins that came in and they ended up trading Dominique. I think he went to the Clippers or something.
Yeah, Doc Rivers was on that team.
Yeah.
Spud Webb was on that team. I used to go.
Oh, they had a nice team. And I think Kevin Willis came.
Yeah, he did.
Tree Rollins.
They had a nice
squad.
But nice gets you only so far in the postseason.
But they came to see Dominique, the human highlight.
They did. Well, who wouldn't? Trey Young was graded this year 105th in defensive win share. So
that ain't bad.
It's not bad. But it's
you
not
said I gave him 6 foot tall. You say he's not that tall. So what do you expect a 5'10" guy? Who he D'ing up?
Okay. So this year from three, he shot 33.5%. It ranked 130th in the league. It's just not good enough. Like if you were Steph, if you were a lethal three-point shooter and you were shooting 44%, I'd say I got no quarrel. I got no quibble with this. But if you really look hard at what happened last night, there's no Dejounte. The other day, it's a couple of weeks ago, I said, I would take Dejounte over Trey, and you were like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, Dejounte is a better three-point shooter. He's a much better defender because he's 6'3", but he's really long.
Yeah, he is.
And he knows how to play. He's out of the pop system. And I just like what I can trust there. I can trust more that he's more of a winning basketball player than Trae is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, last night they didn't have Dejounte. Obviously, he got in a fracas with that ref, and it was bad, and he got he got suspended for a game. And that was what should have happened. So here you go with Trae. And to your point, your Celtics are just saying, we got this.
We got this.
You know, we're going to sleepwalk because this is a cakewalk. And guess what? Would you believe? Here's the stat. I heard Ernie Johnson say this last night, very late after the game on TNT. Their stat was that the Boston Celtics, in their history of playoff games, in the whole history of the franchise, and it is some franchise, they had never, ever lost a home playoff game in which they led by at least 10 in the fourth quarter. Never lost a 10 or more point lead in the fourth quarter, and they lost this one. And that's a stain on these kids. They can't, that's embarrassing to me, and it should be embarrassing historically to this team.
They lost focus, Skip.
Okay, they just lost focus because we got you, because you don't even have Dejounte. Okay, so my point is, I'm watching, I'm saying, that's Trae, that's Trae, that's Trae. And yet in between, he's making his free throws.
Yes.
And there was a technical called on Jason Tatum. So that, he's knocked it out of bounds. So that allowed another free throw, so he makes 3 there, and then he made 2 more when Mark Smart tried to steal the ball from him, which was not a smart play.
Yeah, I don't know what
I don't know what he was doing, and he sent him to the free throw line and gave him 2 more free throws, and yet then Derek White, ex-Spur, he goes the other end. You like Derek White. I love Derek White, and he goes down there, and they attack Trae. They right off the out of the inbounds, they attack Trae, and Trae's falling backwards and fouls him, right? He's trying to get a charge, and they challenge and lose the challenge.
Right.
And Derek White goes to the free throw line and goes swish, swish, and all of a sudden the Celtics are going to survive. It's a 1-point game, and now I'm sure we've been showing the shot. He just dribbles the ball up the floor and says, I got this.
And I'm like Jaylen Brown, he ain't finna shoot this.
He's not going to shoot.
Because they don't need a 3.
Okay. So he shoots it, and he almost logos it, and he makes it. And you know what? This kid is weirdly, to me, clutch.
For sure.
You know why? Because it's like Westbrook. He has no conscience. There's no memory. There's no conscience. He's just going to take the next one like it's his first one of the night. And by God, he nailed it. Okay. Well, it looks great. They pulled it off. Do I think they're going to win the series? No. I do not. And yet they have a whole new executive staff and a whole new head coaching staff, right? And I don't know what they're going to think in the offseason, because this is, because if you're going to stick with Trae, you got to really stick with Trae, because he's still going to be your focal point, whether you like it or not. He's going to dominate the ball.
I agree with you, Skip. But the thing that the Celtics, you have to look, when you can end it, you end it. You are a rolled ankle away from being in a game 7.
You are.
That's why you don't chance it, Skip. When you get an opportunity, you go up 3-0 or 3-1 on somebody.
And obviously, the Sixers are just sitting waiting. They swept.
Yes. Okay. But you want the rest too.
You want some rest. Now, for Sixers, it could now turn into rust.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But Skip, the Celtics are a better team. They're a deeper team.
They're way better.
Yes.
Like that's one of those losses that's just shameful.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure how did we get to a game 6? How did we get to a game 6?
Well, and it is back in Atlanta, and Dejounte will be back, so it'll be somewhat dangerous.
I like Dejounte too, but Dejounte doesn't have he came out of the pop system. When have you ever looked at somebody from a pop system and like, oh man, look at that game? I mean, guys can play. Tony Parker can play, Ginobili and Duncan and Kawhi, but you got to have some pizzazz with that thing in Atlanta, Skip.
Okay, no, I got it. No, you are right. And by the way, the Celtics are still 6-point favorites to win the closeout game now in Atlanta.
Right.
So the odds makers are saying they're significantly better.
Let Atlanta win this game, and then that pressure in game 7. Because, the Celtics used to never lose a game 7 until what happened? Bron came in there, and they lost the game 7.
Lost the game 7. Yeah. Good point.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.